Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm Dr. Yoshiyahu Moreh at the Ark, which represents the Awakening Remnant Coalition. Shalom, Zion. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share the video and also support your station so that we can continue to do this full time for the house of Israel. Looking at Nehemiah and the situation that he was made aware of, we saw that the wall was broken down, and we also saw how important it is that the city had a wall. We also discovered that the wall got to be high, and it has to be strong, it has to be thick, it has to be engineered properly in order to be the first line of, or one of the first lines of defense, so that the wall itself is a military weapon, and it should be designed that way. And now I left talking about why is that wall so important. The reason the wall is so important is because of what the wall protects. Okay, I really need you to understand why that is important. It is because of what the wall is designed. I mean, actually set back and someone designs the wall. What is it designed to protect? So when you have your architects, your engineers, your men of war, your strategic planners and officers and everybody who comes together to decide on the wall, everyone knows how important it is because of what the wall does. First of all, let's notice something, that everyone is in agreement here that we need a wall. It's just funny. This old, the pagan United Snakes, I ain't got time to talk about that, but a nation without a wall is just, I mean, everybody got walls. Now, there's other ways to have walls other than just brick and mortar. I understand that. You know, I mean, you know, you got some weapons. They could act as a wall too. I get that. But I just digress. Let me get back to my point. You gotta have it, and it has to be planned strategically because of what it does. It's very important, and therefore a lot of thought and a lot of energy and a lot of time and effort must go into putting it together because of what it does. And I mentioned earlier that it was men. It was the men who came to Nehemiah, and it was one of Nehemiah's brothers and some other men. Why? Because they were concerned about Israel. The men were concerned. Now, I'm not saying that everybody wasn't. I'm saying, but note how the men were concerned about the condition of Jerusalem. The men were concerned about the condition of the walls. The men were concerned about the vulnerability of the people. The men were concerned about the oppression and the how is it mentioned? I mean, he actually used the word here where he says that the people are under distress. The men understood that, and affliction and reproach. So they were like, okay, without these walls, we're in trouble. So we need help. So they went to Nehemiah. I want to kind of just say and kind of state the obvious. But again, as a seer, hopefully I can help you see something. The walls have a purpose, and it's to protect the men. And then it protects the women, and then the children. And I want you to understand something. First of all, why did I say men first? Because biblically speaking, the men are also to be walls. So you have physical walls that are actually protecting you got a physical barrier like a regular wall, brick and stone, that's protecting human walls. And the human walls are the men. Even when we were traveling through the wilderness, the way we set up our tents is that we set up our tents with the men around the outside that acted as a wall of protection for Israel, for the nation. Because biblically, our men are supposed to be our leaders. And we do not want our leaders easy picking. We don't want them just destroyed and knocked off. Our men are also, in Israel, were supposed to be our frontline warriors. These are the ones that, in case whenever we heard the horn blow the trumpet of war, and it was sounded the shofar, it was the men that gathered because they knew it was them that were going to have to go out and fight. And again, I am not underestimating woman because I am actually showing you the prominent and powerful position that men had in Jerusalem. And these are our ancestors. Our men were also our prophets. Our men were also our teachers. Our men primarily were those that were primarily responsible for the work of the fields, the provision of the household, the protection of the individual houses inside the walls of the city. And they were supposed to protect their own family, and they were supposed to lead and guide and be the priest of every house. Therefore, the man was to be a man of wisdom. Therefore, that enabled him to be a leader. He was supposed to have might, and that's the idea of a warrior. The man was also to be a teacher or an instructor. Therefore, he also carried understanding. He worked in the fields, which means that he was then skilled. The man also, obviously, every day by the sweat of his brow, was to provide for and support and protect his house. So what you want to do in a community, in a nation, is that when you have an asset like men, you want those men to be protected. And therefore, the first line of defense that protects the men is the walls. So you have the physical walls first, and then you have the actual human walls inside of that wall, which are the men. Then inside of that wall, you have then the women. Now, why do we need to protect our women? It's obvious. But let me go ahead and state the obvious, because I did state the obvious with the men. In Israel, our women were considered to be, or our wives, I'll use that term for now, were considered to be the glue. If you look at Hebrew, she represents strong water, which is the glue. And so what does glue do? It's obvious. Glue sticks things together. Glue holds things together. That's why the Bible speaks about a wise woman and how she can hold things together. She can build a house. But a foolish woman operates on the exact opposite of building a strong house and glue. She acts as that which tears something apart or rips it apart. Now, our houses should never be ripped apart by the very thing put in the house to make it stick together. So therefore, the woman is the glue of the house. She represents strong water. She also is really, to be honest, she is the first teacher in the household of the house of Israel. Very first one. So every male child and every female child, their first teacher is actually the wife. So, or in this case, it would be the mother. All right. So we have to protect her. She's bearing the children, and she's also the very first teacher that our children get. Her job is so important because as an instructor, she also must be righteous. She must be holy, be a woman of faith. I can go on and on. The Bible has a lot to say about even the virtuous woman and the virtuous wife. And so therefore she needs to be protected. She also provides, and I heard this is not originally from me. I heard a person say that she provides a soft landing, a soft place, a place of comfort and rest for the man. So that's part of her position in place, that if a man is on the watchtower and the man's fighting battles and the man's out in the field and he's providing and doing all the things he's supposed to do, then it is the woman, when he comes home from that provides that happy place, that paradise for him in the midst of a crazy world and in the midst of all of the things that are going on in the world. That one person in that one place, that wife, is the one place that he looks forward to getting back home to. So therefore, he's going to protect her. She also provides wisdom, knowledge, and understanding based on Torah, because she is able to be aware of situations and circumstances that sometimes even her husband's not aware of. There are several biblical examples of that. Of course, Abigail would probably be one of the better ones. But anyway, that's also a part of who she is and why she needs to be protected. The woman and the wife is inside the walls, and therefore she is able to not only get pregnant, but to have the children and to rear these children, nurture them in the fear and admonition of Yahuwah. And she is responsible for maintaining she's responsible for maintaining a biblical, or we say Torah-based household that the man, of course, being a righteous man, has established to be. So the man is in Torah, and while he is, or the husband is in Torah, while he's working as a soldier and as a plowman and as the first line of human defense out inside the wall, that he knows that when he's not there because he's got to go do whatever, that he knows that his wife is going to be carrying on whatever it was that has been established for the household. So then she's protected. Now the last one, wow, this time is going so fast. We also have inside the children. And of course, everybody knows that the children represent our posterity. Our children represent the nation of Israel, continuing in the path of righteousness. And also represents the wealth of the house, and it represents the value of the house of Israel. My time is up on this video, but without those walls, without the wall, then all of Israel's true value, the real value of Israel, the real wealth of Israel, which is the Israelite men and the Israelite women and the Israelite children, without those walls, without that wall, they are vulnerable. They're going to be in distress. They're going to be agitated. They're going to be exposed to evil, and it's not going to ever be good for them in that type of situation and state, being Israel and being part of the remnant. So there has to be something done about that. We'll pick that up in our next video. But for now, I want you to think about what I just said about what the true value of the house of Israel is and why it's so important that we protect it. One love, Zion. Support the channel. You already know, keep us full time. Like the video, share it. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. And we're going to continue to grow and learn and study together. Why? We need it in these last days. One love. Shalom.